But going to the next story, Giannis. Giannis has signed the Supermax. He was not going to say no to that money. It's $228 million. I would love to be Giannis's family. Just and right before Christmas too. That's wonderful. But
they grinded for that money though.
Yeah. But the worry with Giannis going to another team was that it was going to be a loss, quote unquote, for small market teams. If he went somewhere else, I guess my question to y'all is like, is this a win for small market teams? Does it not change anything for small market teams? Is it kind of just a wait and see? Like, what does this dictate, I guess, for the Bucks? Not immediate future, but long-term future.
I mean, it's not a loss per se, but I wouldn't call it a win until Giannis wins something. Like, I feel like if this happens, Giannis stays the whole length of the contract, they don't get out of the East. This is still like a bad reflection on small market teams because it's just like they have one of the top 5 players in the league who's committed to them without any faults, an organization that has shown they've done whatever it takes to get stars, and it just doesn't work. Like, I just feel like if that goes down, I don't think it's going to help the reputation of small market teams. Just like Damian Lillard hasn't really helped the reputation of small market teams. Great player, but he still can't get out of the Western Conference. So I just feel like a W for the small market teams would be Giannis at least making the finals. So now you have something to hold on to.
Yeah, but I mean, I think small market teams have been fine. I mean, obviously, people try to say the Oklahoma City thing with Kevin Durant is not because Oklahoma City is smaller than Oakland, but Oakland's not that big of a market. So I mean, I just it depends. Obviously, the Bay Area is a little bit different, but Oakland itself isn't that big of a market. So for him to sign with Golden State, I think was a victory for small market teams anyway. Because I mean, the Warriors hadn't been good for a long time. On top of that, I think that with Giannis, that it's I just don't think that small market teams were that much of a big, or like small market teams weren't going out like that. Like Miami's not a big market. I just think we get confused as to what's a small market team and what isn't based on like who signs there. You know what I'm saying? So I that's just my point in that.
I agree with you. I think it's one. I don't think there's been an assault on small market teams. When you look at each situation, it wasn't necessarily. I think going to a bigger market helped those players, but I don't think it was like I'm just leaving to go to a bigger market. LeBron left Cleveland because he didn't like the owner and it was poor management. He didn't think he could win there. Kevin Durant left Oklahoma City because it was arguably the greatest team in NBA history. And those are the two big ones that people typically point to. But like, as you said, Damian Lillard stayed in Portland. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Zion and John Morant. But where did Jimmy Butler went from what? Chicago to Minnesota and then Miami? He just kind of went where it was. Like right. Kristaps went to Dallas from New York. Like there's definitely instances where you can get good players. You may not get the greatest player of all time, but that's not what necessarily drives it. Like, I mean, there's tons of people like that went. Like San Antonio had Kawhi. They didn't lose Kawhi simply because he wanted to go to LA. They lost him for a variety of different reasons. Sure, being at home is one of those, but it wasn't the biggest reason. And you can just go down the list.
So, like the top 5 markets, I don't think any of them have picked up a free agent for a while. I don't think like New York. Obviously, Brooklyn is a different issue,
Lakers.
but
Lakers got
LeBron, but they hadn't got a free agent for a while before that.
Yeah.
So New York, LA, Toronto, DC, and then Chicago. LA just won. LA just won, but they didn't get one before for a long time. And in Chicago, nobody's going to Chicago. DC just got, Westbrook in a trade, but nobody's coming to DC like that.
I want to say he's a top 5 market.
I would put Miami over DC.
I would put Miami and Houston ahead of DC.
Yeah.
In terms of size or in terms of like market share or whatever. I'm just saying, like, I'm not bad. Yeah, I guess you're right.
But I was just saying, like, I just don't think it's like you said. Like, I don't think people are just going and signing places. I also think we I don't know what the right word is, but we exaggerate the number of players that are just up and leaving teams like that.
Right.
Like, there's only like what we're talking about 5 to 10 players that really can push their way out of someplace. We're not talking about Rudy Gobert. We're not talking about John Moran at this point. Jimmy Butler, you saw what Jimmy Butler had to do to get out of there. He had to basically throw a temper tantrum in practice to get himself out of there. Like, there's a lot of talented players that can't do this. Like, I don't think Donovan Mitchell, another case. He just re-signed there. I'm not saying he's the best of the best, but he's still an all-star and someone you can build the team around. Like, they're just re-signing. Like, Nikola Jokic, I don't see him going anywhere. Like, there's certain people I just don't see going anywhere, and I think we exaggerate the problem. I think it's just a matter of, are you building a team that people think can win? And if you're building that, unless you have the example of Kevin Durant, and in that case, he just went to an even better team. So, but I'll leave that there.